Welcome to Dead Dog Media, and today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new installment into the MCU, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, starring Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, Michael Douglas, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Jonathan Majors. It's directed by Peyton Reed, written by Jeff Loveness, and scored by Christoph Beck. I'll be breaking down and rating individual aspects of the film. These ratings will be averaged out at the end for the film's final score. If you haven't watched the movie yet and you want to form your own opinion before hearing ours, or just don't want spoilers, you can hit the subscribe button real quick and come back later and hear what we have to say. It's free and you can always unsubscribe. Not every review makes it to YouTube, and reviews can be written months before the video comes out. So if you want to see more and early content, head on over to our website, www.deaddog.media, for more. Every rating in my head starts at a 5 out of 10 and moves up or down based on the content. So if something is rated at a 5 out of 10, it means nothing was good enough to bring the score up, but nothing was bad enough to bring the score down. The first main subject I'll be breaking down is writing. For the writing, I'll be rating the following aspects: plot, pacing, characters, and dialogue. The plot. There are things I really like about the story and things I really hate. I love almost everything about Kang and his story, and the fact that he's the worst version of himself and was banished to the quantum realm. I hate all the MCU tropes and conveniences, like ants just happening to be overpowered by the end of the movie and save the day, and Kang happens to pin Ant-Man right next to the one thing he doesn't want Ant-Man near. Something his thousands of years old character would definitely not do, and it's just a plot convenience. And Cassie just so happens to be a super genius, and by the end of the movie can build a portal despite her learning no new information, when Kang, basically a god who has lived countless lifetimes with infinite resources, could not do that. And the machine she used was not designed to be a portal. Kang made it a portal from his end, and she has no idea how he did that. Peter Parker is supposed to be the MCU's new super genius, and they show that to us by him being good at geometry and webs. Cassie Lang builds portals to other worlds in less than a minute just because the plot dug itself into a ditch. I give the plot a 2 out of 10. The pacing. The MCU is getting to the point where they should either just be jumping into the action or having very important character moments in the beginning of the film. And I'll get into why the character moments we do get are not important in the next section. But they're still opening the movie with the superhero not superheroing in any way, shape, or form, and wasting this time with useless information and interactions. The action doesn't take long to start though, but as soon as it starts, it ends. Then a good quarter, if not more, of the movie is just the characters wandering around hearing mentions of an evil guy with no one willing to explain anything out of fear or convenient time constraints. Then we get 2 minutes of action in a jail cell scene. To be fair, the jail cell scene is really good and important to the plot, but it comes out of nowhere and is surrounded by action that presents itself as inconsequential because the characters just stand around in a battlefield talking to each other. So while this scene is great on its own, we as the audience are desensitized to it because of the pacing and writing. And then the final act is an absolute tangled mess of pacing as they try to bring the tension up and up and up in a movie that has taken itself completely not seriously thus far. There's more plot twists and fake outs, and you can see them all from a mile away. And yet, the movie still looks into the camera and has to explain to us everything that just happened. I give the pacing a 4 out of 10. I mean, it's a movie you can follow and know what the movie is trying to do at least, so it's definitely not the worst part of the movie. Characters. Like I said, beginning should have important character moments to establish who the characters are and what their motivations are. And while we do get some information on what Scott has been doing and how the fame has gone to his head in the opening, I don't believe any of it. Scott has had no prior foreshadowing or character moments showing any development into this. He's always kind of just been an honest, down-to-earth guy in the MCU. And if there was any moment, even one in any other movie, where Scott was like, boy, if only I were famous and everyone loved me, or I should write a book about this someday, and completely ignore Cassie, or even a single moment of anything along those lines, but nothing. His motivation has always been be the best dad for Cassie and do what's right. So I'm supposed to believe that after losing all that time with Cassie, he is ignoring her so much to the point where Cassie has spent enough time at his girlfriend's dad's house to build a quantum satellite. So we've just established that he's unemployed and just markets his book in the local area and avoids doing superhero stuff while also not spending time with his daughter, to the point where his girlfriend and his girlfriend's dad are teaching her how to build quantum satellites, impossible technology. In conclusion, his established character motivations for the past however many movies, 3 or 4 different movies he was in, is thrown out the window. Cassie's character is just awful. Someone downloaded a progressive teenage girl template and forgot to change some things to avoid plagiarizing. Hope Hope is an empty shell of feminist ideology. We get even less development for Hope, as we don't even see her doing the things that Scott says she does. All we see is that she looks like a dude now and can type on a computer in $1 million office. And these are our only powerful women icons in this movie. Empty, lifeless, cut and paste feminist stereotypes with no development that are clearly more capable than our lead male character. Hope doesn't develop even a little bit by the end of the movie. She comes back to save Scott just like she's been saving Scott since the first movie. But for some reason we're surprised Hope, the more capable beacon of moral purity and self-sacrifice, would do the most heroic thing in the biggest moment. The only real development we get from any of the characters is Scott becomes okay with his daughter breaking the law or something, and Hake becomes a cuck. Janet learns no lessons either, even after she gets everyone sucked into the quantum realm for not telling multiple people in her family that have regular interactions with the quantum realm that a literal god set on destroying infinite realities is down there. She continues to lie and keep secrets from them, hoping to return to normal life shortly. By the end, she only tells them because she absolutely has to, because it's important to, their lives and safety. But as for the characters, I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. This was going to be my first 1 out of 10 review, but I remember Kang was in the movie, so that did bump it up a point. As for the dialogue, it's worse than I expected, but not outside the realm of what Marvel has done recently. It's a 3 out of 10. For the film's writing, we're going to average out to a 2.75 out of 10. How the mighty MCU has fallen. I'm going to be rating acting on 2 different categories, main cast and supporting cast. For the main cast, the only reason this isn't a 5 or below is Jonathan Majors. He was absolutely amazing. Give this man a real script and a real director and he will have an Oscar in no time. Every scene he's in, everyone around him suddenly remembers they're in a $200 million movie and not some class project, and they actually start acting. He's absolutely worthy of being the next big bad in the MCU, but I hate that he's being wasted here, and I fear that they're going to continue to waste him in the future. I'm giving the main cast a 7 out of 10 solely because of Jonathan Majors, and I mean, Paul Rudd wasn't bad, but that's about it. The supporting cast, nothing of note. Disney Channel level acting, Bill Murray being Bill Murray, 5 out of 10. So for the film's acting, we're going to average out to a 6 out of 10. At least the scores are getting better. Visuals. For the visuals portion, I'm going to be rating the categories of camera, costume, CGI, and practical. For the camera, I didn't notice anything amazing or horrible. 5 out of 10. Set design, pick your set. Barren Wasteland Quantum Realm, bad green screen Quantum Realm, or full CG Quantum Realm. 5 out of 10. Costume, 9 out of 10 for Kang. My god, he's beautiful. The way his armor works, the way it reflects and doesn't have a scratch, and the cape, it all just works. 5 out of 10 for everyone else. I mean, they added a circle on Ant-Man's chest, and every helmet was CG. Come on. CGI, there's good and bad, but the bad takes you out of it, and the good isn't great. Great designs for a lot of the CG elements, but they place them on green screens. It still looks good, but it looks like a green screen. 5 out of 10. Practical effects, faceless fascists are clean and all look the same. Freedom fighters are dirty and wear a lot of robes and body paint. I feel like I've seen this in every movie ever. 5 out of 10. For the film's visuals, we average out to a 5.8 out of 10. Again, I mean, it's better than the writing. Audio. For the audio, I'm going to be rating 2 different categories, score and Foley. For the score, the original Ant-Man score is really good. I only noticed it a few times where they incorporated it here, but it was heavily changed. I'm not saying do the same exact score every time. What I am saying is if you gave me a random part of this score, Thor, Captain Marvel, and half the MCU scores at this point, I wouldn't notice which one's which. So for that, it's a 5 out of 10. Foley, I noticed nothing noteworthy. There was no Star Wars Foley in here, so it's 5 out of 10. So obviously the audio portion is going to be a 5 out of 10. Our total rating for Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania is a 4.8 out of 10. I don't have the energy to really put into words how disappointing this movie was for me. I was expecting Love and Thunder to be the bottoming out of the MCU, then we got She-Hulk, and now this. This makes me fear for projects like Spider-Man 4, Daredevil, Cap 4, staples of the Marvel brand and characters who largely have not been ruined by this new plummeting quality of the MCU. Yet. If you enjoyed this review, hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave a comment on your favorite or least favorite part of the movie. If you agree or disagree with anything in this review, please let me know in the comments below, along with what movie you'd like me to review next. Thanks.